Well, what is the crime that you want to impeach Joe Biden for and keep this nonsense going? Why? What is the crime? Tell America right now.
You're about to find out.
What is the crime?
You're about to find out.
Name it.
Last week, Representatives Jamie Raskin and James Comer, his Republican opponent, got into a bit of a fiery exchange, if I do say so myself, over the impeachment inquiry that has been launched against President Joe Biden. But despite what you just heard in that clip, it is important to note that a recent CNN report has revealed that James Comer wants to call it quits. And can you really blame him? Now, Comer recently approached one of his Republican colleagues and made a blunt admission. He was ready to be done with the impeachment inquiry into Biden, according to the lawmaker who relayed the conversation to CNN. So with this impeachment inquiry on the ropes, Comer's colleagues are now anonymously, of course, stating that they feel the investigation could have been handled better, although I fail to see how, considering it was based on false pretenses. But some in the House GOP, granted the anonymity to speak freely, said they feel Comer often overpromised and underdelivered, with one GOP source who worked on the investigation telling CNN that people wished Comer had reined in his rhetoric. Quote, I think early on, the most important thing to do is to let the evidence lead the investigation. And I think some of the earlier statements got a little more aspirational than the evidence really allowed. Now, the investigation, as we reported, has been filled with goofs and gaffes, including but not limited to the source named Alexander Smirnov. He got iced after it was discovered that he got some of his dirt on the Bidens from Russian officials. And then there's this swing and a miss. Comer single-handedly invited the president to testify at a hearing after the White House declined the invitation. He dropped his invitation for a hearing and instead focused on his request for documents and written answers. But in public, Comer is still very defiant. When pressed on whether he would have done anything differently, Comer, who has defended his handling of the Biden probe, told CNN, "Not that I can think of." And he's not alone in trying to keep up the farce. GOP conference chairwoman Elise Stefanik, who loves keeping up farces, credited Comer with helping to expose one of the biggest political corruption scandals in our nation's history and delivering on the promise of accountability and transparency that House Republicans ran on. The only problem is they have failed to turn up any evidence that incriminates the current president of the United States, Joe Biden. As for what's next, Comer wants to send criminal referrals to the DOJ that Trump could then act upon should he get elected as president again. And CNN also reports that Comer has ambitions of running for higher office, such as governor. So that's what Comer has his sights set on.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
John.
I mean, people like him have a long, distinguished history of failing upward. Why not? I mean, you said that this thing has been filled with goofs and gaffes, and I think that at this point we can label him Chief Goof. He's an idiot. He's a dum-dum. He's not good at doing an investigation like this and actually turning something up, which in terms of like the anonymous person had said, let the case follow the evidence. Well, in that case, there would be no case. But you could launch into something like this thinking if we dig enough, we'll find something. Joe Biden's the president. He's been in politics for a long time. It is not inconceivable that he's done something illegal, but he wasn't smart enough to make that happen. He also wasn't smart enough to provide the substanceless sort of like aura of criminality.
Yes.
He couldn't even do that. I literally to this day cannot tell you what they're even saying Biden did. They didn't make it an appealing narrative for the American people. And Trump wanted that more than anything, is to nullify the accusations of criminality. But for Biden, it's like they gave up on that and they're just back to, he's falling apart. He can't read a teleprompter. But in terms of the corruption, they have failed and there's definitely something there, but they just couldn't find it.
Yeah, that is such a good point, because it isn't about the substance, right? Typically, these types of investigations are political. And even if there's no evidence, even if there's no wrongdoing, even if you can't tie something to the individual being investigated to incriminate them, you can engage in a certain type of theater that persuades huge portions of the electorate to actually think, oh wait, there is the appearance of something criminal taking place. And it is kind of amazing that Comer failed on that. He really did. Like, look, and don't forget that there are some Republican voters who have bought into the lies, but I don't think that the portion of Republican voters or the number of voters in general buying into this lie is big enough or great enough for Comer to keep up the farce. I mean, look, even, I can't believe I'm giving her credit, but Maria Bartiromo, who has kind of lost her mind, even she would have Comer on and just be like, listen, bro, where are the goods? Do you have the goods? We want the goods. But there were no goods. And he didn't know how to handle those types of interviews by conservatives, carried out by conservatives. So it's just so fascinating to see him flail like this. And I am curious to see if there are political ramifications to it, especially if he's looking to be elected in higher office.
Yeah, we'll see. I love that. We'll see if he gives it up publicly, but privately, like, he's probably just really sick of people yelling at him. Like Maria Bartiromo's yelling at him. Jamie Raskin is acting out like he's Stewie asking Brian for his money. Where's the crime? Give me the crime. Where's the crime? Like, he's just like, I didn't ask for this, man. I thought this would be easy. But he's got nothing because, again, Chief Goof.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.